Friends, today's NRI Samai program from Los Angeles brought to you commercial free by listeners like you. Your generous donations make possible for us to stay commercial free, and today's show is pre-recorded. If you have a question for the guest, please send an email to nrisamai@gmail.com. We will follow up with the guest and find the answer for you. Thank you for your support.
Friends around the world, hello and welcome to NRI Samai. I'm your today's host, Srikanth from Los Angeles. With me this morning, joining from Tamil Nadu, India, is Jagadheeswaran Dakshinamurthy, General Secretary of Lok Sabha Party, who along with his friend Ganesh did a Right to Services Yatra. So this Yatra is 2 people, 50 days, 32 districts and 7,000 kilometers of road trip on bike to educate, awaken, learn more for themselves and enlighten people about right to services. Jagdish, first of all, congratulations, sir, and welcome to the program.
Thank you, Sri.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. You reminded me of Che Guevara's motorcycle diaries. I know anyone who's talking about Yatra, that's the first thing people keep talking about. Also, that's the sense that I got when I heard about this effort. Great effort, Jagdish, and congratulations on completing the Yatra successfully.
Okay.
And as a starter, Jagdish, can you let our listeners know what is right to services, sir, and why is it so important?
Sure. Everybody knows about India, and whenever we especially talk about in other countries, one thing out of among the other positive things, one negative thing that always surfaces is this corruption. And when somebody defines India, they say from birth to death, you got to pay bribe. You got to pay bribe for a birth certificate. You got to pay bribe for a death certificate. That's how India is defined. That is the negative part that we have in India. And it's unfortunately true. It's I would not say it's not true. It's unfortunately true.
Yeah.
And when you take about corruption, I see it in 2 things. One, we talk about huge corruptions like the 2G scam, like the Colgate scam, and so many scams which involve so many crores of rupees. On the other side, you have corruption in government offices. You call it a bribe. Say, for example, I go and apply any basic service. I go and apply for a ration card.
Right.
I'm demanded a bribe. I go and apply for a birth certificate. I demanded a bribe. I go and apply for a caste certificate. I ask for a bribe. It comes through, sometimes through the government officer, sometimes through an agent who works for the government officer. And that has been happening rampantly throughout the country. I would not say there is one place where everything is perfectly fine. Everybody is so pure, they don't get a bribe. And here, I don't say it is the government officials or the agents who are corrupt. It is the system that is making it so easy for them to get that demanded bribe from the people. So we have been conducting camps across Tamil Nadu. We have been conducting camps in specific areas. And our primary duty in the camp is to ask people, are you getting the basic services correctly? I mean, are you able to get your ration card, birth certificate, everything without any issues? And mostly we get so many complaints. I applied for a ration card. I even have the acknowledgement. I haven't got it for around 4 months. Sometimes it is 5 months, 6 months, sometimes it's years, 3 years, 4 years. So we have been thinking, what is the solution that would make this happen? And we have been seeing things and we have been researching, and we came across this right to services, and especially in Lok Sabha, Dr. JP has been advocating for right to services for so long, and we strike this Right to Services Act.
Right. So when you say right to services, right, it's basically a law that guarantees time-bound delivery of services for various public services, right, rendered by the government to citizens. So it's an effective tool, as we can talk about. You've mentioned about, birth certificate and also ration card and others. So mention a few such very important services that citizens should be aware of. That would be a good thing to start off with.
Sure. Yeah. In most of the government departments, you have something called citizen charter. And when you enter a government office, sometimes it is even displayed in a government office, either in the regional language or in sometimes English. Say, for example, the department that issues you the ration card. You enter into a government office, you find a citizen charter, and they say, apply for a new ration card. There's a time bound. You have to get it in 60 days.
Right.
You apply for a change of address. That should be done in 7 days. You apply for somebody to be added in the card. Say, for example, you want to add your son or a daughter into that card. You have 2 weeks. For every service, every government service provided in that particular office, you have a citizen charter, which is mandated. And there is a GO for every service that you have. This is in so many departments. Take, for example, the revenue department. You have for the birth certificate, the death certificate, the caste certificate, everything. And take, for example, you go to the metro water department. You have time-bound service for the water connection. Name any government service, you will have the citizen charter. Probably there are only few services where you don't find citizen charters, like the home department. Say, for example, the police. Even though people say when you go and apply for a complaint, they are supposed to give a CSR copy and then file an FIR, it is not time-bound as of now. Right. So somebody cannot say there is a mandate that you should give me a CSR. That is why the police people say, police people always keep on saying, no, we cannot issue a CSR immediately. Whereas in other services, you can at least question them saying, here is a citizen charter, and why don't you follow it? This is the basic of right to services. And the problem is, even though there is time-bound mandate for each service, since there is nobody who can follow it up. Say, for example, there is nobody who can follow up the official, any government officer who is sitting above him cannot do this. It's not happening. Unfortunately, it's not happening. So even if I go on, if I apply for a ration card, I go on the 60th day, I ask him, where is my ration card? He would say, no, there are some issues. You can come back next week. And if I go on the next week, he would again say, come on next week. The problem is people, this is what is happening. I mean, there is no time bound even after the 60 days, and people, they have to keep on coming every week without knowing when they would be actually issued the card.
Right. So
this is the problem. Yeah.
Yes. So you talked about ration card, you talked about death certificate, birth certificate, and you talked about a couple of other important areas where this is, and also you hooked up this conversation to a citizens charter, which is being displayed outside these offices, and it will also clearly depict when a particular service would be rendered, like death certificate in 7 days, or birth certificate in 10 days, or whatever it is. But is this citizens charter? Sorry, not chapter. It's my apologies.
Charter,
Citizen charter. Is it there every state and every part in this country, sir? I don't think so, right?
No, that's where it is actually available in most of the departments in most of the states in our country. The problem is, since there is nobody, like I said, since there is no mechanism that would follow it up with this, if it is happening really, people are not aware of the citizen charters. That's the truth.
Yeah.
So how right to services comes into this is, right to services defines very clearly that any service has to be time bound, and if that service is not happening within the time, the particular officer who is responsible to provide that service must be penalized.
Okay.
Say, for example, I don't get a ration card on 60th day. On the 61st day, the officer responsible, we call it the BDO or the Dasildar, he is going to be fined.
Right. Now, sir, the one important thing is right to services certainly has been projected as if it is something that will curb corruption. Of course, you talked about massive corruption. Amma is right now in jail. So we're talking about huge corruption. That's one side of it. But basic things, where citizens are extremely frustrated because they don't get their basic services, right? So how does right to services really help curb corruption? Take some examples, sir, and explain us how does that help?
Sure, I'll do it. Just like I said, even Dr. JP used to quote this. People, even though they are bothered about the huge corruption that is happening in country, What really concerns them is the day-to-day activities, what my Dasildar does for me, what my village administrative officer does for me. Because it is these people who the common man meets every day.
Right.
So, for example, if I have to get even for a police complaint, if I have to give a police complaint, sometimes they would say, do you belong to this place? Go and get a certificate from a VAO. And VAO would ask, the village administrative officer would ask me a bribe. So what happens in the Right to Services Act is, as I quoted before, on 60th day, I go to the officer and he says, my card has not come for some reasons. What I do is I write a complaint. Just like the Right to Information Act, here also we have two, appellate authorities. Yeah.
Okay.
You have a first appellate authority and a second appellate authority. You go and complain the first appellate authority that I applied on this day and I didn't get my ration card. And that appellate authority, he has to give you an answer within 7 days. Else, if he finds that the officer has not done his duty, he has to be fined. He has to be penalized. The penalty amount can be from 250 rupees to 5,000 rupees per day. And that penalty amount will be taken from his salary. Which means if that officer is not going to work, he's not going to get his salary, basically.
Wow.
And in case, if this first appellate authority also doesn't do his work, if we go to the second appellate authority, the second appellate authority is supposed to give you an answer within 15 days. He has to give you an answer in a written format. And if he finds that both the first appellate authority as well as the government official has not done their duty, he has to fine both these people. He will fine the official as well as the first appellate authority. And the most important, the good thing is, this penalty amount will be given to the applicant. Say, for example, I applied for a ration card, I didn't get in 60 days. And if the second appellate authority finds that these guys are not working, I'm going to earn money. I'm going to get their salary, basically.
Right.
For all the nuisance these guys created, I'm going to earn money.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Now, when you mentioned a very important point that these guys will be penalized and the penalty amount would go to the citizen who has complained. Right. When we talk about this, right, the judiciary comes into picture here. These guys will go and appeal in the court saying that so-and-so things happened and I'm not responsible. Is there any connection between judiciary and anything related to right to service? Let's imagine you went to the appellant authority, right? And then so he says that I'm penalizing this guy. I'm going to fine him with 5,000 rupees and it cuts his salary to a certain extent, right? Does this guy have a provision to go to the judiciary and then say that judiciary is effectively there to address the disputes? How about judiciary here, sir?
Yeah. Again, quoting the example of Right to Information, RTI.
Right.
In RTI, you have the same applied authorities, and after that, you go to the State Information Commission, which is the highest body for SRT. Similarly, I don't think many states have this, but there is a provision where you can have a Right to Service Commission appointed for this. Just like, whenever these two applies file, you can go to the commission, and this commission can provide you with the relief.
Okay.
So this is how it is going to work.
Wonderful. And sir, when we talk about right to services, is it a state government initiatives as it stands, looks like right now? So how about some sort of this act for central government officers? Let's talk about income tax department. I want to go to income tax department. I'm roaming around these guys. I'm roaming around in these offices and not able to get a refund. Does this act really help in Tamil Nadu?
In Tamil Nadu, it's not implemented yet. There is a central act that is pending with the Parliament. There is a Right to Service Bill that is pending from 2011. But even before that, the state governments, especially the Madhya Pradesh state government, the BJP-led government by Shivraj Chauhan, he was the first one to bring this as a state act. He introduced this as a state act. And when he introduced this act, this was seen as a good revolutionary act. And it is happening very well. It's implemented very well in Madhya Pradesh, and things have we actually saw the reduction in bribe and more transparency has come into the offices. After Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh followed it, and after that Bihar followed it, and as on today, 19 states in the country has got right to services implemented in their states.
And then now no right to services in Tamil Nadu, right?
And Andhra Pradesh as well.
Oh my
These
goodness.
two huge states has not. I mean, even though people like Dr. Jete has been fighting for rider services right from I think from 95, he has been fighting. 90s from 90s he has been fighting, and no signs of rider services in AP. And we have been fighting in Tamil Nadu for almost 2 years now, and no signs of rider services in Tamil Nadu as well. You can see there is even very small states like Jharkhand, Uttarakhand, they have got rider services.
Right.
Jammu and Kashmir has got rider services. Punjab has got rider services. In some names, the names would differ depending upon the states. They would call it in different names, the regional languages name. But there is a bill. There is a bill in every state. In almost every state, there is a bill. And the good thing is, Shivraj Chauhan, after he implemented rider services, he was given an award by UN.
Okay.
And when Kerala Chief Minister Oman Chandy implemented in 2012, he was awarded the award by UN for bringing transparency and bringing accountability and trying to reduce bribe and corruption in government offices.
Oh, nice. Okay. Interesting.
And it happens. I mean, it works so well in Bihar, and from what I hear, it acts so well in Bihar and Karnataka because they have related this with the information. I mean, technology. Whereas in Karnataka, there is a website. I'm not sure about the website name. I will tell you. The website where you can go and you can enter the status of your application, and you would know the exact position your application is. Say for example, you apply. I'm again quoting an ration card example. You apply for a ration card, and it has a process where first of all the village administrative officer has to receive your application, process it, then he has to give it to the revenue inspector RI, and it goes to the Dasildar. So say for example, on the 30th day, you go and enter your application status. You can find the status with whom it is pending. It will clearly show you if it is pending with the VAO or if it is pending with the RI. That is such a wonderful job, Karnataka sites.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So in Tamil Nadu, you have done this right to services yatra, right? So what do people think about, sir? Do they understand that this act is so important that it's not there in Tamil Nadu? What's their response?
Yeah. First of all, right to services is a new name to people like Tamil Nadu. We are not, I mean, even if I say 3 years back, if you ask me what is right to services, even I was not aware what right to services is. Only when we conducted all these camps, when we started researching what would be the system change that we can bring in, we heard about right to services, started analyzing it, started doing research on it, and we struck upon right to services. So when we started in Tamil Nadu, we know it is going to be a huge project that is going to take time, and we had it in phases. The first phase we thought is, let us give training on right to services to our cadres, to our supporters and volunteers. That's what we did. I just created a presentation. I just gave a presentation to everybody. The second thing we planned is, let us make this a buzzword. Let us make this word heard in media. Let us make this word heard among the social activists. And what we did is we met media. We made that word as a debatable subject. It happened throughout all the media in Tamil Nadu. Everybody started thinking because of us. They started picking up this word. Every major channel had a special show on right to services. Every major magazine wrote about what right to services is. They had debates. They had different analysis, different views. And we made sure that this particular word becomes popular among the media, among the social activists. And we had a huge start, actually. That was a very good start that we made. And after that, we thought, let's get into the field, let's conduct signature campaigns. We started conducting signature campaigns across Chennai, in some places in Coimbatore, some places in Tirupur. We told people what right to services is, what change it would bring in. And people are more excited. When they hear that some government official could be fined for not doing the duty, they are so excited. And they said, if this act is implemented, one day, for sure, there will be no bribe and corruption in government offices. I'm not again talking about huge corruption, but for sure, there will be one day. This would bring more transparency, more accountability, and one day this corruption has to stop in all the government offices. People are so excited.
Absolutely.
So after that, we thought, okay, we have done some work in parts of Coimbatore, Chennai, and Tirupur, and now it is our duty to spread this word, spread about this act law to all the districts of Tamil Nadu. And that's where we thought, okay, let's go for a bike ride, Bike Yatra, and let us go and campaign to all the people. Let us meet students. Let us meet office goers. Let us meet a social activist in that particular district. Let us meet as many people as we can and let us talk about this. And that's where we thought, okay, let's hit on the roads.
Right.
And that's where it started, this Bike Yatra.
Right. Now, 50 days, 32 districts, 7,000 kilometers. Not an easy one for sure, Jagdish, and phenomenal effort. But I wanted to understand, from the planning to execution of this Yatra, how tough was it, sir, and what were some of the hurdles that you faced?
Yeah, sure. Very first time, we started the first phase. We had it in 2 phases. We started the first phase on January 5. On January 5, when me and Ganesh started planning this, we started planning this even before, and we thought, let's choose a particular district. We actually chose a district that is close to Chennai. We started with Tiruvallur, which is next, this neighboring district to Chennai. And on the other side, you have Kanchipuram. We decided among ourselves, let's first go to these places, because this is the first time that we are going on a bike trip. This is the first time we are going to stay outside. Even though we have stayed outside before, there will be obviously a friend's house or a place that we know. This is going to be a place where we do not know. We are going to a different terrain where anything might happen. We are not sure. We are not sure if we would get food, or we are not sure if we would get a place to sleep. We had so many questions among us, and we thought, okay, let's go to a district which is close to Chennai, and if there is some issues, let's even come back. That was the first initial planning. And if we could test ourselves, that was what we are planning to do. And we had so many issues, so many things going in mind with if our body would take this up, about the food, about the water, so many things. And we started on January 1st. January 1st, we went to Tiruvallur. And one thing that we planned in the planning phase was, we decided we are not going to stay in any of the hotels. We are not going to board a room in any of the hotels. We are going to stay in the villages in the district. This is for us. In the daytime, let us campaign about right to services. Let us talk about right to services to as many people as we can. The night time, let's go to any village. Let's talk to the villagers. Let's not talk about right to services too much to the villagers. Let us hear from them. Let us talk about their water issues. Let us talk about how people are there. What sort of work they do. How do they earn money? And how is agriculture in the place? How is the water source in the place? If there are any caste issues in the place. That was primarily in our mind. And we, among the social activists over in Chennai, we got some good contacts. People are ready to give us contacts. On hearing that we are ready to go for a journey, they gave us contacts. And through those contacts, we telephoned each contact and said, we are coming to your home. And one thing is, when we are talking phone and we say, going to come to your home and we have to stay in your place, they had some apprehensions, because anybody would think, how come a stranger is calling me? And even though social activist, he wants to stay in the house. Right. And they had apprehensions. But as soon as we entered the house, explained about this right to services, as soon as they saw us coming in a bike and about the notices, handles, they're very excited. They would actually say, we need more people like you. We are actually great to host you here for this night. And they would immediately for great dinners. They would call all the people in the villages, ask them to come to their home or come to one public place in that village, and they would make us talk. They would make those people to talk. It was very wonderful. Right from the first day.
Awesome.
We went to
I can really feel it, sir. So, Jagdish, when I've been following you on Facebook, and no hesitations to say that when I see a profile, right, it says you work for Cognizant Technologies, right? Where does this activism start off in you, sir? Are you full-time into politics, or how is this political life going on? I see immense amount of work that you do. What's happening, sir?
Sure. I was born in a place called Pudukkottai, which is close to Tiruchirappalli in Tamil Nadu, India. And I did my schooling in Pudukkottai, and I did my college. I was actually, I'm a mechanical engineer. I studied in Tyagarajar College of Engineering, Madurai. I was passed out in 2003. And even during my college days, I didn't decide it's going to be political life. Something that went into my mind is, I had to do something for the people. I had to be in a role where I do bring some change to the people, because I realized how people are, how many avoidable sufferings that people have, and what can I do. I was not very sure what exactly I was going to do, so I thought I'm going to do some sort of people work. And after I passed out the college, I decided on one fine day, I would anyway quit this job, whatever I do, and I would go into something full-time people work. So I thought, rather than going into a mechanical engineering job, which would give me lesser money, I thought, let's go for a software job. The intention to entering into software job is to only earn money. I started out with Tata Consulting Services, TCS. I worked there for 4 years, and with Sirius I worked for 4 years, 8 years. And the 8 years, I was in US for 3 years. I was in Hawaii and I was in Connecticut at the same time. I mean, totally 3 years. The reason I went to US is as soon as I entered the job, I mean, even though I thought I would enter into people work, I would become a full-time people serviceman, I thought I'm not going to, I'm going to again live a normal life. I would again get married, settle my parents, settle my life, and then enter into this. So I thought, let's buy a house for me. So I bought a house as soon as my job got confirmed in TCS. So next planning was to go to an on-site country, which would give me again more money so that I would settle the dues, the loan that I got for my home. So as soon as I settled the loan, the next thing was I called my employer and said I have to go back to India. At that time, I was a North American employee with Cognizant Technology Solutions, and they said, since you are a North American employee, you cannot go back to India. But I started fighting, saying I have to go. Usually it is a reverse case in India, whereas these people would say, I want to go to on-site country and I don't want to come back. In my case, it was a reverse. I said, I want to go back to India. I don't want to stay anymore in North America. So I had a fight. And when I came back to India, I was actually paid very, very less. I was paid what a starter would get. But I was okay with it. I just wanted to come back to India. And the other lucky part is that I got a girl who understood me, who supported me, and who knew that this guy is working for the people and he wants to get into full-time people work sometime. And during this time of with TCS and CTS, we did two things along with the friends. I lost one of my friends from a heart surgery who was with my classmate in Jagadheeswaran College of Engineering. And out of the sorrow, we learned a lesson that we could have done something that could have saved him. And so we thought, let's start a society which would help the kids, especially for their heart surgeries and for their education. And we collected money among the friends, and we actually sponsored many heart surgeries, many students. And we also started another society called Change Society, where we thought there are some things that people have to change. Right. Say, for example, you travel on the road, you don't wear a helmet. You travel on the road, you don't put a seat belt. Because these stuff people have to change. Rather than always saying the government has to do something, it is something that you could change. Right. So we had these sort of campaigns. We did all those campaigns. And from both these, I learned one thing. Even though I have a love for the people, I want to educate so many children. In my capacity or in my friend's capacity, I can probably educate 10 students in a year. But I want to educate so many thousands of people. So many thousands of people need good education. So many thousands of people need good health care. That is hugely lacking. And I decided the answer for all these problems is politics. So I was actually looking for a good political platform. I started searching, and at the same time, elections were announced in Tamil Nadu. Tamil Nadu has only legislative assembly, and there was a plan to bring the upper house. You call it the MLC elections.
Right.
The MLC elections, you have one specific category called the graduate constituency, where only the graduates can vote and only the graduates can contest.
Right.
I thought this is a good platform to start off with, and I started meeting the graduates in my constituency. I started for campaigning, but unfortunately this MLC election never took off. And at the same time, I met Lok Sabha Party. I met Mr. Senthil Arumugam and Mr. Siva Ilango, and at that time Lok Sabha Party was called as Makkal Shakti for this anti-Hindi sentiment. So we thought we had the name as Makkal Shakti alias Lok Sabha Party, and this is where I entered into Lok Sabha Party. And as soon as I entered the Lok Sabha Party, I found a great leader in Dr. JP. And even here, these were great leaders. Both Siva Ilango and Senthil Arumugam were great leaders.
Right.
So I thought, okay, I have found the right platform, and let me become a full-time politician. And by 2012 January, with my wife's support, I just quit Cognizant and I became a full-time politician.
Wow, life is not going to be easy, sir. And I don't know if your wife is working. You're lucky to get a girl.
She's working.
Yeah, who's supporting you, but it's not going to be easy, and also, it's a big decision. I can understand, I can imagine, and kudos to all your efforts. Definitely not easy. But just want to ask, sir, when you have interacted with thousands of citizens in this yatra, right? So you have learned a lot from them. What are some of the takeaways from your yatra, sir?
Sure, yeah. Especially during the nights, when I said we stayed in villages, we used to meet two kind of people. One, the core young team of that village, and the other, very senior people who would tell us the history of that village and how agriculture was before and what was the water source they were getting and how it is today, what are the caste issues, and there are so many things like that. And in all the villages, I would say we stayed around, among the 50 days, we stayed in around 25 to 30 villages. And one worst thing that I would say is, in all the villages that I stayed in Tamil Nadu, there were no toilets. That was quite shocking to me, because 70 kilometers from Chennai, you hit Tiruvallur or Kanjipuram, you will not find a toilet in home.
Oh my God.
And especially in Kanjipuram, there is one village. The guy the social activist who took me to that place, took us to the place, he's a graduate. He's an engineering graduate. And in his home, he made us stay in his grandpa's home. And there was a toilet which was not used at all. They had cement blocks over the toilet. I was asking, why did you have this? No, my grandfather never used it. And what about you? He said, no, I too don't use it. These are made to openly defecate.
Wow.
He's an engineering graduate. He doesn't have that awareness. And I asked, what about the other villages? And everybody would openly defecate. Why? Because the community toilet is not working properly. The community toilet is very far. What I found is this community toilet is complete failure. It's a complete failure in all the villages. I have got different reasons. One place, you go to a toilet, you will not find a pipe. There is pipe connection, but there is no pipe. In one place, you cannot enter the toilet. It is built in such a way that you cannot enter a toilet.
Wow.
In one place, everything is ready, but it is locked. Why? Some minister has to come and open it.
Wow.
It is so worse. It is, irrespective of the sex, ladies, men, children, everybody has to openly defecate. This is a real reality. This is a ground reality situation. Even when our Prime Minister Narendra Modi, he said on 2019, Mahatma Gandhi's birthday, there should be no toilets. I actually wrote an email to him. You guys don't even know the reality. Be it the Tamil Nadu Chief Minister or somehow they don't find that reality. This community toilet is a huge failure. And people, even though some of the homes, they have the toilet, they are not using it. They have different reasons. They say, this is the best method, this is what we have been following. They don't understand the health issues. They don't know what is happening. This is not with just with every educated people. In one place, I went to my wife's friend house, and she is actually a sub-inspector of police. I asked her, can I come and stay in the house? She said, no, she is actually a social worker as well. She is helping preventing child marriages. She is a social worker as well. And she told me, no, there are no toilets in my home. You cannot come and stay here. A social worker, a sub-inspector of police, she doesn't have the awareness that we cannot openly defecate.
Oh my God.
This is the truth. This is one huge issue. I was just shocking. And most of the places, it was actually the defecation that welcomed us rather than the people. Once you enter from one village to another village, you find this is what you will find. That's so shocking. The other issue was the caste issue. In caste issue, especially in northern Tamil Nadu, you have a home where they openly say, I belong to this caste. This house belongs to this caste. This road belongs to this caste. And in one place, there is
this is surprising.
Road. Yeah.
Road. Oh my God.
Road, yeah. And in one town, this is in Virudhunagar, there was a barber, the saloon. And that saloon had writing outside said, only people belonging to this caste should come here, should enter this saloon.
No less than racism, right?
Saloon. Yeah.
Oh my
and
God.
I was shocked. We came back, both me and Jagadheeswaran came back. I shot a picture. And some people, as soon as they saw us, they came to close to us. They asked, what is this? So we said, only our caste people can come here because it is our caste who gave this place to this saloon guy. So he cannot do other things for other caste.
Please send me the picture.
That's so shocking.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, sure, I'll do.
Yeah.
I'll do.
Awesome.
This is the two major issues that we could see prevalent in Tamil Nadu.
I can imagine.
Most of the places, the agriculture is has come down. People say the agriculture has come down because mostly there is no water source. Mm-hmm. Government is not doing enough work on that platform, and that is not happening. And in most of the places, these people who were once agrarians, they have all become the workers of the 100-day employment scheme. They all go to the 100-day employment scheme. They just earn every day 150 or something. They all come back. And other thing is, again, in Tamil Nadu, the task mark issue. Everywhere you go, when we go to the fishermen communities, fishermen villages, mm-hmm. People would say, better you go before 6 o'clock. Because if you go after 6 o'clock, you'll find only drunk men in that village. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You cannot go and talk with them. It's better you don't go or go before 6 o'clock.
Wow.
And in most of not only in fishermen villages, in most of the places, this is every village, even though irrespective of the number of people, the size of the village, you will find a couple of task mark shops. And there are places like the petty shops, like the bell shops in Andhra. You also have a bell shop where some grocery shop would be selling this liquor.
Wow.
This is also happening in Tamil Nadu.
Rampant issues, right? Caste, liquor, and also open defecation. We need to add this because we did a recent show with the Sulab founder as well on NRI Samai, so I can understand the intensity of that problem. And you've mentioned about very rampant issues. These seems to be really bad. And Jagdish, I want to really thank you for taking the time off and talking to our listeners today, and also a lot of learning from you, especially for me, listening firsthand. And I wanted to also give you some feedback that your initiatives are very sensible, sir, and I wanted to let you know this because I keep following you on Facebook as well. Take this as honest feedback. Of course, I can't read all your Tamil posts. I wish I knew Tamil, but hopefully Google Translate would bring in something new going forward. But awesome effort from all of you. Also, the goal of this interview, Jagdish, is to make sure more and more youth, learn from such initiatives, the ones that you've taken. Also get inspired, learn from it, and take a positive step towards meaningful action. So that's the whole intent of doing this session. And once again, thank you so much for taking the time off, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Steve. I would also like to thank NRI Samai for asking me to do this interview because, as I said, the first thing that should happen every place is knowing this word because, as I said before, right to service or what happens in a village, people doesn't know about it. Out of these bike yatras and out of these activities, people actually come to know about what is important to the people because I see the problem where even here when Jagadheeswaran goes to jail, many people said she was doing a wonderful job. Yes. The problem is people don't even know what is needed for this country.
Right.
That is the problem. So these kind of interviews or these kind of activists actually makes people think, give them awareness, what is needed for this country, what system changes that people like us propose. This is actually a good move, and I would like to wholeheartedly thank you for this effort.
Oh, thank you so much, sir. And also, our focus is to make sure that we bring up issues and also topics that are very relevant to our country. And of course, it's also the main responsibility of, as you mentioned, media taking ownership of bringing in such topics and not, only ending up in sensationalism and other things. So I certainly hear your point on this, and thank you once again, Jagdish.
Thank you so much.
So friends, that was Jagadheeswaran Dakshinamurthy, is the General Secretary of Lok Satta Party, started by Dr. Jayaprakash Narayan. And as you know, in the country, for general public to get their work done from government departments in stipulated time, it's not an easy task, as government officers keep on dragging it by one reason or the other. And as they keep asking them, doesn't make any sense, and they keep asking the citizen to come on next time without bothering if it is possible for them to collect on specific date. The citizens are extremely confused. Ironically, all these basic services come under the domain of government departments, as Jagdish mentioned. So hence people choose other ways to get their work done, preferably going to the local MLAs and also local leaders. That's how people become slaves of these so-called dirty politics. And that's right to services is definitely the best route through which citizens can get their services, basic services rendered by the government authorities in time, as Jagdish has mentioned. So that was Jagdish. Great effort and also phenomenal yatra that they've taken up. Two people went across this various different districts in Tamil Nadu. 50 days of yatra, 32 districts is what they covered, and 7,000 kilometers of road trip. Basically to educate and also awaken a lot of citizens and enlighten people about right to services. And as Jagdish mentioned, this word or this buzzword of right to services, especially in Tamil Nadu and Andhra Pradesh, as Jagdish mentioned, there's no right to services that exist as such. So it's very, very important that citizens do realize that it's absolutely necessary for their day-to-day life to progress. So great effort, and thank you once again, friends, for listening to this conversation. You can also reach out to us at nrsamai@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter and also on Facebook, twitter.com/nrsamai and facebook.com/nrsamai. All our archives are on YouTube, youtube.com/nrsamai. Once again, you guys have wonderful, wonderful weekend. Thank you, friends. Bye.